What's good, family? Welcome to a Minor Hoops podcast show, the freshest opinions and views on the world's most beautiful game, and we are back. Hit the air horn, Keith. Hit the air horn, Keith. We got an air horn now. We got an air horn, America.
That's just not. We don't.
Oh,
You don't just throw it
he's
out there
gun
like
shy.
that.
Don't worry about it. He
You
gonna
don't
get to
throw
it.
it out there like that.
He's gun shy with the air horn. I can't
That's
believe
supposed to be
it.
a surprise or something. You can't just be like, "Hey."
Yeah, man, we're back. We're glad to be back here for a new season of a Minor Hoops podcast. And we don't want to waste no time. My guys, y'all guys are doing great. Good to see y'all. We got Dunkman Keith behind the camera, TK to my left, B to my right. Boys, so glad we can do this again. How we feeling?
Feeling good, man. It's been a good summer. It was a good summer. Summer's officially over for me. Like I said, back in the classroom, back on the court with the guys. So I'm excited, man. Like I said, and there's basketball being played right now, so I can't be too
Basketball
upset.
is being played.
It is what it is.
Some good basketball all around.
Oh, it's great basketball.
Oh yeah, just being able to wake up early in the morning and have like a sport or something on the TV that you just love to just start your day with is no other feeling. It kind of gives me the closest thing I can remember is like I don't know how y'all got ready in middle school, but MTV VH1 was playing or whatever those shows was playing the music videos all in the morning at 6 a.m. That's how I kind of feel like getting ready for my day, just being able to like throw on something that I know is going to captivate me for that time period. And just being blessed enough that I'm not officially started my program yet, so I don't have to be anywhere, so I can work from home and just enjoy all of the games. So yeah, it's been a nice switch up, and I've really appreciated this year for FIBA as well. It's been extremely entertaining.
It has been entertaining, man. I've been watching the games, and I was like, bro, I need to talk to someone about this because a lot was happening. We were seeing a lot of different. We're seeing a unique group. This is a unique group. If we're gonna let's just hone in on USA for a moment.
Yeah.
Undefeated so far through exhibition play, leading all the way up through the FIBA World Cup. Right now, I think we're in the second stage.
A group play, yeah.
Group play. So we're looking at a completely new group for the most part.
Yeah.
No most part.
Everybody. Yeah.
Everybody's brand new, all the way down to Bobby Portis. Shout out to Bobby Portis.
You know what? Shout out my boy, but shout out Walker Kessler. He's
No,
the
for
real
real.
one. He's just sitting there. I ain't mad at him. Enjoy your vacation, bro.
It's crazy.
It is.
I mean, there's always somebody on the team that has to sit there. Like that's okay.
That's my point. Like, shout out Walker Kessler for being
You always gotta have a
great
Christian
teammate.
lady.
Yeah, you're right.
there.
You always gotta
'Cause
have a
it's a
Christian
tough
lady.
thing.
Tayshaun Prince.
It's a tough thing. Yeah, Tayshaun won't get no burn. He played a little bit here and
A
there.
little bit.
So, yeah, completely new group, man. So Tyrese Halliburton, Austin Reeves, Anthony Edwards, Paolo Banchero, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson,
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges,
Ingram.
Cam Johnson, like completely new group, young core, young team. And I'm impressed. I'm loving what I'm seeing from them. And I was a little bit concerned because when you don't have a guy,
superstar.
Yeah.
a guy,
Oh, even
a
that
superstar.
veteran experience. He didn't even
Exactly.
have to necessarily be a superstar, but
Just
you don't
someone
have anybody
who's been in the FIBA
exactly.
situation before.
Exactly.
You start wondering, like, they might slip up and fold in one of these games.
Especially with these young guys, I was wondering, are they going to try to treat this tournament like it was AAU?
Oh, my bad. Brandon,
Ingram.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram
Forgot about
as
him
well.
too.
Yeah, you ain't mentioned the guy right now, though.
Oh, you talking about Anthony Edwards?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
he's hooping.
mentioned him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like the first name out. But with this young group, I think that was my concern, how they were going to approach FIBA. No certified superstars on that team at all. I don't care how much we love these players individually.
Yeah.
I don't see a one option for a championship mob on this roster. So no, there is no superstar on this team. Couple budding stars.
Yeah.
I would definitely give that. Anthony Edwards, I've always been speaking highly of him since high school, honestly. I always thought that he was going to be
Since
the
our
one.
pre-draft video back in, 2020?
Exactly. It was no question for me. And I think he is going to be the guy, whether it's me having a personal bias, him wearing, Kobe's old number and things like that. But right now, I can see your concern as in if you're running to a team that has been built for this for years, because you know how international ball works. A lot of these guys have been teammates on their international roster for a decade. You know what I mean? So when you run into those deeper teams that have guys way longer together, is the talent going to push everybody over that hump?
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, we haven't seen them have really too much trouble. I love the way certain bigs have been able to work this USA team, specifically Vucevic in that last matchup. I thought that going into the FIBA tournament, that was going to be the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Dealing with skilled bigs. We know we can get up and down the court. Who cares about all of that? At the end of the day, if you have to break down to a half court where the spacing is smaller in FIBA basketball, and when Anthony Edwards is going to beat somebody on the baseline, there's automatically going to be somebody stepped up, ready to play. So it's going to be a lot of post play, but we've been running pretty well right now. I will take USA to win it all. Still, I haven't seen any kind of like red flags, but that was the biggest thing I had was veteran presence within that locker room, within that organization, and on that team. And then also what happens when you run up against an actual skilled big.
Yeah. I didn't mention that Jaren Jackson Jr. has played really, really well. Paolo Banchero, I've seen him play 4 and 5 situations.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's been the backup 5 for this team, and he's performed admirably as that because he is not a 5.
He's not a 5.
No, close.
He's really a
He's a 3. He's a 3.
Yeah.
To be honest, I saw an article. I didn't read it in full, but it did raise a huge question. Paolo Banchero is looking like the new big. Like the fact that he's playing, we've seen him play backup 5.
Yeah.
We're looking at a situation where like, oh, he got the ball, grabbed it off the rim, took off with it. Like it goes back to that whole Giannis element of how I play the 5. Because Giannis plays the 5. Like, there's no way around it. He protects the rim. He's always under the basket. But when he grabs that ball and he's able to push and create and so forth and so on like that, like now we have a completely different headache. And that's what Paolo Banchero has been able to do. So very impressed with him. Very impressed with him. Let's get to it. You said they're budding superstars.
Yeah. A couple of them, not this entire roster, but like maybe
roster. There's a couple of budding superstars. I'm gonna be honest.
Maybe the potential for superstardom in 2.5 of these players, and that's no disrespect, but when I consider superstardom, I mean that you are the one option on an actual championship team one day.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. We're just gonna get this out the way. There's one guy that's in every group, every Team USA. There's one guy that makes his presence known that, hey, I am the guy.
Oh, yeah, the guy.
And I'm going to be the guy when we get back home.
The guy on the cover, the guy on the box, the guy on the poster.
The guy that get the Wheaties. Like, he's going to be...
that guy. Yeah. The action figure guy.
Anthony Edwards is that guy.
Yeah.
Let's just cut the crap.
And got it.
Dude. Like, what we're seeing out of him and what we've heard out of him in practice, what we've heard from him from...
On the court.
Like, what he said to Steve Kerr.
He didn't say that to Steve Kerr. I got your back, Ed, because he got mad at that. He didn't say that to Steve Kerr. He said to a reporter he was thinking that.
Thinking about saying
Either way, I will give him props. That is one of the coldest quotes.
It is cold. It is cold. Because they don't got a Kobe on that team.
Because granted, it's probably something you shouldn't say.
What did he say? Tell the world what he said.
Steve Kerr was... I'm not saying Steve Kerr was attempting to bring Ant off the bench, but he definitely was flirting with the idea. I don't know how far he was going to take
Steve Kerr.
Exactly. Ant being Ant, I don't know what he actually said to Steve in that moment. Definitely probably showed some pushback on coming off the bench.
Probably.
But what he was thinking in that moment, he said... Steve Kerr told him that, hey, even Dwayne Wade came off the bench. Like, granted, Dwayne Wade was playing with
Kobe,
Bron, who else was
Chris Paul.
I think Melo was on some of those
team.
Point of the case, Dwayne Wade was backing up Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. And said, there's no Kobe Bryant on this team. 100%. If I look at this roster, I 100% think... Anthony Edwards is hands down the best player on this team, in my opinion, the most talented. And he's going to be the superstar that I'm talking about being a one option for these. I mean, even last year, we had a back and forth about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I was like, this.
Yeah.
So with Ed, it's always been that support there, always the expectation that he's going to be the guy going forward, and he wants to be that guy. You're right. He's loud, he's vocal. He embraces it.
He has that swagger.
It's just, it's that dog. He has it in him.
It exudes, I'm the number one. Everybody else fall in line. So, like I said, I respect how he feels. Like I said, you got to have that type of confidence to even be that type of player.
Yeah.
So I respect it. The only pushback I'll give you is, I think Banchero's ceiling might be higher.
Ooh.
That's the only pushback. Like I think. And once again, we all know. Like I've been up and
he
down.
was my other superstar, so
Like,
I
I've
get
been
it.
up and down on
I get
Ant
it.
from the beginning. Like I said, I still think he has all the potential to be a superstar player. He's shown that. I still don't know if he is a number one guy on the championship. Just like I don't know if Ben Carroll's a number one guy on the championship team. But those two to me, look like they just look different than everybody else on this team.
Even that one game, and excuse me for cutting you off and not remembering who they were exactly playing, but they were down by like 10 early.
Yeah.
And Paolo had checked in the game, and I think he had game high like 21, 22 that
20.
game. And I apologize for not being able to remember. Because I watched every second of that game, and I was like, wow, that was the spark. And I saw it in his face. He did not care. Like, as soon as he stepped on the floor, it wasn't about anybody around him, what was going on the floor. It's like, how are we going to win?
And granted, I apologize, Orlando Magic fans. I didn't watch a ton of Orlando games last year. I watched enough. Like, I was impressed by Paolo as a rookie. Like, you watch him, like, okay, that's impressive. Like, but when you really watch him, you're like, yo, a dude this size, this fluid.
Just look what he did as soon as he came in the league, too.
It's just like, whoa, like, this is very, very intriguing. And yeah, it's going to come down to like how his skill sets improve and the little things that he has to do. But like, you can't teach somebody to move like that. Like, it's really that simple. Just like Ant, you can't teach somebody to be as athletic as Ant.
Yeah.
Like, he's a tank who can jump out the gym. Like, there's certain things you can't teach. So for both of them, it's going to be how they take little steps in their progression from here on out. I'll constantly talk about Anthony Edwards and his playmaking ability. Like, that's going to be his big thing. For Paolo, it's probably going to be his defensive presence, which, quite frankly, this has probably helped him with a lot. Like, playing as a 5 in FIBA is going to make him understand a little bit more of how he should be as a backline defender. So I'm intrigued by both. I think
those are the two guys, in my opinion, that will potentially reach superstardom, out of this group. I'm not mad at that take that you're thinking that Paolo has the higher ceiling. I would strongly disagree, but it's not something I think is a wild take. Yeah, it's something where it speaks to the details and to honestly just the ability of Paolo that, it's him and Ant.
I mean, like I think it's always that thing of like, it's a 6'10" versus a 6'5". Like, it's hard to bank against the 6'10" who's
you're completely right
too. Like, so, but yeah, both of them like have really impressed in this run.
It was New Zealand.
21-4-4
versus New Zealand.
Like, but then there's been a lot of guys on this team who have had moments where you're like, Jalen Brunson looked good very early on.
He looks like, good, period. Yeah. Regardless of what the stat sheet says, too. I think he was built more so for a FIBA game.
Yeah. He's definitely giving me Jason Kidd vibes.
For the point guard for USA to continue. A lot of people want to say, oh, why didn't Trae Young get that call up? And a lot of it is fit. I'm not going to sit here and say Trae Young's not a phenomenal point guard, like guard, period, but an international play.
I think they just watch Trae Young play defense.
It's just fit. I'll take Jalen Brunson on an international mob over Trae Young every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And that's not me saying that Trae Young's, in my opinion, Trae Young's a better player than Jalen Brunson. And it's not all about that.
Yeah.
But Jalen Brunson, from what I've seen so far in the second stage of group play as well, he's looking like he could solidify a spot in, the USA roster for years to come.
Oh, no, that's fact.
I think that'll be a discussion in terms of who's the better point guard.
Going forward this year?
Yeah, I think that'll change after next season.
I don't think it should.
And we always end up in these arguments, but like it's this weird thing of like, if I had to build my team around a player, it'd be Trae Young with no question.
Easily. If I would have had a team,
to win a championship, I probably would take Brunson. Like, it's a weird dynamic there because Trae Young is clearly a more dynamic playmaker, like more explosive as a scorer.
For sure.
But he doesn't do some things at a championship level that holds your team back. And I've always felt like this, we know.
We are going to see. My guy's wearing a Knick jersey. He just had a really great season as a Knick.
A really great season.
So you can, in that market, so you can go market for market. Trae's doing it in Atlanta. He received more help with, what's my boy's name? Off guard. DeJounte Murray.
Murray.
DeJounte Murray. They're doing a lot with that team. We'll get to that.
All I'm going to say is, because I've had this debate a lot over the last couple of weeks. Can we please stop acting like Trae Young hasn't had a good mob built around him?
He had the mob built for him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Atlanta has done a really good job of putting solid pieces around.
But this is what
that's my point.
criticism.
And that's my point. Like, I think Jalen Brunson's, if you look at Jalen Brunson's help last season with the Knicks,
Mhm.
you could very well say Trae Young had the better help. Trae Young had the better help.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
And we
Not
saw
bad.
and we saw Brunson play great hero ball in the playoffs. Just wait, saying we saw Trae do it a couple years ago. So it's like, wait a minute. Is this a more effective guy who's more understanding of like moving the ball, moving without the ball, getting to his spots, playing more efficient?
I like the argument.
He's able to go over a pick and roll every now and then because he has a little more weight on him. Like,
No, I'm saying
that's
no.
all I'm.
That's
all
something I'm willing
saying.
to watch for the
That's
next
all
year.
I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, I'm not
made
trying
all
to.
these arguments, so I'm not. I can't
So-
disagree with you.
I'm not sitting here saying like boom, boom. We just all recognize that Trae Young is hands down a more talented player than Jalen Brunson, but
sometimes it ain't all about talent.
that's really what it is, and that's why Trae Young isn't a part of this FIBA basketball team because it's not just about talent. If it was, the entire roster would look different.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, but I think the way they constructed this team is really, really good. I love what Tyrese Halliburton is doing.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in the game, he's just looking for everybody else.
Yeah.
He's just having a ball.
Pushing
Finding
him and Reeves coming off the bench, and granted, even I'll say I'm more impressed with Reeves not right now than I was with him as a Laker. Just saying a lot because he had a really good Laker season.
Yeah.
But like the way he's played in FIBA, him and Halliburton coming off the bench, like leading that second unit, is really what's been the spark that's destroyed a lot of these
right,
teams.
because the starting five is playing good basketball. It's not like they're playing good basketball, but when that second unit comes in, and this is where I think a lot of people thought where USA would kind of like take the dip, they're not. Like that margin is still opening up. That plus minus is still going in the right direction, and
Right.
so that's the issue when you can bring in Tyrese Halliburton, Austin Reeves, Paolo Banchero, Josh Hart. And they continue to keep their foot on the gas because they're those kind of players. Like all of them are going to keep their foot on the gas. They're going to stay in your face. They're going to keep attacking. They're not going to slow down. And yeah, like that's been the headache for the rest of
The world
right now. So, but there's some teams out there that are quite scary.
Oh, for sure.
And I made the post. You saw it. Did you see it?
No, I probably didn't. Which one?
I said the world better be so glad that Jamal Murray is at.
Oh yeah, for fact. I thought about that as soon as the FIBA when
Hey,
he got
I
into
ain't
it.
gonna lie. Jamal
be
and Andrew.
so glad.
If you add
told
Jamal
you.
and Andrew to that team,
Andrew, just the way
Canada
he's
is
approached
nice
Canadian
America.
basketball. But yeah, he's nice and everything. But
No, but like once again, having another
NBA guy. I
elite
completely agree
NBA
with you.
athlete on the floor with Jamal
one of the
Murray
best
and
wing
Shea
defenders in the
would
league, and
be
Andrew Wiggins, and then
like-
having
This team is good.
Now, granted, they lost yesterday.
the Brazil, yeah.
So they're kind of in a rough spot. They got to win their next game. And I think they play Spain to advance. So like they're in a tough spot. Hopefully, I'll be honest. I want to see Canada pull it out. Just
Everybody wants to see Canada versus USA. Like
Yeah,
that's just
like-
let's just say it what it is.
I'm interested.
You want the North American
I
All
just want
Stars
to
to
be right
play.
because I called my shot like 3 years ago. I just want to be right because I called my shot 3 years ago.
Yeah,
So hey,
He
I'll
did.
be honest. So
I will confirm this. shot. I
Canada
will
basketball has
confirm
always
this
been
shot.
on the up and up. Yeah,
So Shea has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like once again proving that he is definitely while he got the All NBA nod this year, people still looked at him like
He's still outside of that top 5, top 10.
and he's slowly but surely just kind of proving like, no, I am
Yeah.
one
I
of
belong.
them
That wasn't
dudes.
fluke.
I'm belong here.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
one of them guys. So for OKC fans, y'all should feel very
Oh,
encouraged.
I feel great.
I know you do.
I feel great.
Anyway, but no, Canada has been very impressive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Latvia has been really
Mhm.
entertaining considering they don't even have Porzingis, but they're still
Yeah, I've been watching
out there
like
hooping like
Yeah.
going crazy.
Sheesh. Oh, shout out my man Karl Anthony Towns as well.
Oh yeah, with the DR.
Dominican
Mhm.
Republic. Hey, somebody said it. DR cat is better than USA cat. You
It
know
is.
what?
It is.
That's true.
It
I'm not
is.
gonna argue with you.
That's true.
You're probably right. So
That's a
there it
true
is.
statement. So yeah, I'm enjoying all of FIBA right now. I'm enjoying what we're seeing, and from the whole new crop of young stars that are doing it. Who do we feel most confident that's going to bring that back outside of Shea? We just mentioned Shea.
Yeah.
But outside of Shea, who's going to bring that back and elevate their game
It's gonna be
on
Ant.
the NBA floor?
It's gonna be Ant. I think this is gonna be the season where he's gonna get an All-Star nod.
Has he only made those things?
He might have made it as a replacement. I can't directly remember, I would love for you to check that for me.
Finding out.
I appreciate it. But I think this is gonna be just
Yes, he did make the All-Star team.
he did last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is gonna be the year where it just takes that next step because Shea wouldn't been the pick for me. I think everybody on this couch expects Shea to continue his growth and be an all NBA guy next year as well. Anything else I've seen? I mean, Luka's always Luka, so he doesn't count.
Luka doesn't count. He's going to get 39 and 9 wherever he's at.
He does not count.
The only thing that should make NBA fans more worried is that Luka's going to show up in shape this year.
That's it. Really, but Luka's been doing Luka, so I don't really think there's much to mention there.
I'll take. It may not be the All-Star step as, it might not be the All-Star step that like Anthony Edwards will take. But I'll take Reeves. Oh
yeah, I think he's gonna come back and have a good season.
He's gonna have a really good season. A lot of people would
a better season than he had last year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's a basketball player.
I mean, for sure,
he can hoop, man.
Once again, I've been so impressed with him this whole run, just because you're seeing more things he can do, like him handling the ball a little bit more, playing out the pick and roll. Like, I'm really hoping
he's not gonna get to do that though.
But
that's my big
no
take.
He might get to do that, but
he's
it's also
not going to get to do that. That's why I'm gonna take the stand. It's never him having a more on the ball role.
I think he is, because who's our secondary playmaker right now?
D'Angelo Russell, I will assume.
Okay, so who's after that?
Yeah, I guess Austin Reeves.
Like, and I think he's going to get those. So I think they're going to end up splitting minutes. Either it's going to be LeBron and D'Lo, or LeBron and Reeves, or it's going to be D'Lo and AD, or Reeves and AD. Like, they're going to split those minutes between those three.
I agree with what you're saying.
And they brought
logically, I'm just saying I don't bank on them continuing.
They bring in homeboy from Miami.
Gabe Vincent.
He's
not playing.
Yeah, he's not
going to be an on-ball creator like that.
He's going to be more of a microwave scorer.
But my point is, with all of this, in terms of we might get to see that, we also are seeing him play off of a lot of different options. And that's what FIBA basketball always shows. It always shows who's capable of playing with another guy just as talented as me or more talented as me.
Yeah, for sure.
He does a really good job of that.
He does.
Where he finds a spot.
He's had to do it all last year. That's my whole point. I think that's what made him fit really well with Team USA basketball. You're sitting here playing next to Anthony Davis and LeBron James for an entire year. I think you're gonna grow. I don't think he's gonna recess from said progress that he's made doing this entire FIBA run. But I think you're gonna go back to playing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and there's only but so much growth allowed in that. Not saying that he won't grow, but only but so much, in my opinion, if you're trying to win a chip.
If you keep showing me how effective you are with 3 dribbles, and then you come around and then you show me how effective you are with 7 dribbles, and then you show me how effective you are with no dribbles.
Man, I hope
it's
so.
like, wait a minute. This guy, we could put him in any rotation and he'll find a way to succeed. That is special. Like, I'm not saying he's gonna be a superstar. That is a special basketball player.
I'm saying if Reeves takes the growth that I think that y'all are taking, I'm taking the Lakers to win the chip next year.
So
and that's the difference. I don't think he's making.
No, not that far. Like, it doesn't have.
What do you mean not that far?
It's not that. It's not.
If he becomes a better playmaker than D'Angelo Russell, then I would say that the Lakers should go to a Western Conference Finals, and it should be a push for a Finals appearance.
That's different.
This year.
That's different.
Yeah, this year was. I'm not even gonna argue about the last year and then how they got swept, but I mean an actual push. Nobody thought they were gonna actually make the finals. We all thought it was gonna be the Nuggets. I said they were gonna lose in the first round because I thought it was gonna be a matchup against who? The Nuggets. So we just say scratch that. They're not going to compete against the Nuggets unless Austin Reeves is going to actually have this year that y'all have. And if he does, then I will take the Lakers to possibly get past them. And if y'all are cool with that, then I will sit here and say, like, all right, cool. Let's wait and see.
If he plays the way I think he can play, it could be a 6-game series. I'm still picking the Nuggets.
No. I respect that.
But it could be a 6-game series.
I respect that.
Like I
respect that.
Anthony Davis, we're not going to do that. But
I mean, once again, there are a lot of factors that come
into play. But
y'all know my argument. It's all going to come down to what LeBron James allows other people to do.
And I don't think historically, no, that's what I'm going with. Historically, I've never seen Bron give as much on-ball duty responsibility to anybody when we thought he was going to.
I will say he started to do it last year once they got D-Lo and even a little bit to Reeves. Because I think even LeBron recognizes he's getting older. The problem was he reverted
I was about
back.
to say, he does it every year. He reverts back.
He reverted back, but I also can't blame him because D-Lo and Reeves started hitting the broadside, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So it was like,
I get it.
we kind of hit, like, we hit either way.
Y'all hit y'all ceiling. All right, let me go ahead and do
and
what I
that's
can
why I'm
try and do.
50-50 with it.
So my thing is, I think if Reeves takes another step, I think he'll be better this year.
To the point where LeBron is going to be like, you know what, you still going to have a couple bad games, but we're going to still run through that how we originally
where LeBron
planned.
can finally say, you know what, I can conserve my tank until the last 5 minutes.
All right.
Like if they can just get
I respect
there,
that. I respect
we're
that.
fine.
I respect
If
that.
not, well then yeah, we're in the same place we were last
Yeah.
year, which isn't the worst
It's
place
not
to
the
be
worst,
in.
and I don't think he's gonna have I think he's gonna have a better year than last year. But I'm a little bit hesitant on
Like, I
the
don't know-
energy that y'all gave.
I don't know
was
if
like,
D-Lo
ooh.
finishes the season as a Laker. Let me
I
say
don't
that.
know either.
So that I think
I don't
that's
know
where I
either.
really
That's fair.
think,
That's
and that's
fair.
where I think Reeves will end up taking the real.
And I don't think it'll be D'Lo's fault entirely,
No, it
but
won't.
yeah,
It's
you
just-
just know how these Braun teams
That's how it
go.
works.
They're gonna
That's how it works.
they're gonna ship
Like,
somebody out.
put up and shut up.
Yeah,
It's that simple.
facts.
But anyway, but yeah, I'm excited about Reeves. Halliburton, I think, is going to have another great year with
Pacers.
Pacers.
Mhm.
There was somebody else I wanted to talk about. It's slipping my name because I can't. I looked at the roster. Flipped off of it.
Run them off for
Yeah,
you.
real quick.
Halliburton, Bridges, Johnson, B.I., Paolo, Bobby, Ant, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Jaren Jackson, Walker Kessler,
Jaren
Awesome.
Jackson.
Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson's the other one. I'm like, I think this is big for him because, especially with Memphis going into next season, missing Ja for 25 games.
Yeah,
Like, you got Marcus Smart, cool. Like I said, you still got pieces there in Desmond Bain.
yeah,
and
Desmond
everything.
Bain. Yeah,
But like, in order for Memphis to really take the next step forward into being a contender,
Jaren got to be
Jaren-
2010.
Jaren got to be 20.
Jaren got to be
Like,
20
it's a fact at this
Yeah.
point. Like, Ja, and y'all, I know y'all hate hearing me say it sometimes, but like, sometimes like 25 and 9 is what that player is giving you. Like, you can't ask but for so much more. Like,
I understand.
if he starts giving you 30 and 15, then what are we like? We're talking about the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, I
Like,
understand.
yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
there's a cap. There's a cap.
only so much production Ja Morant's going to give you.
Yeah.
So Jaren has to become a 20 and 10 guy.
And to clarify that, that's not Brian saying Ja hits his peak or anything
Oh,
like
no,
that.
not at all.
Yeah,
Like,
I
he
don't want
can
people to
still
think
become a
like,
better
yeah,
player.
yeah.
Like,
There
that's
could
a
be a
fact.
30 and 10 year for Ja, but like realistically, in terms of winning and moving a team forward,
like
there's only so much that
even
an individual
LeBron
can
caps
do.
out at 39 and 9.
Yeah, I was about to
It's
say,
only
yeah.
so much
He's
production.
gonna flirt with a
player
triple
can
double,
give
but
you.
after that, they're even going to need help. So
So like Jaren has got to become a 20
bare
and 10
minimum
guy
20 and 10. Like
to
20
really-
and 10.
So I've been impressed with him during this run. Like I said, he's been the only real big on the team. Granted, he's not even a real 5.
Yeah.
But like he's been impressive as well. Like I said, still showing he's gonna be one of the best defensive players in the league.
For sure.
But I need to see him take more. I've seen bits of it where he's taking more growth in his offense. Like I said, being involved in the actions a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I said, being a little bit stronger in the post. Like these are things that Memphis needs him to do to
Mhm.
take the next step.
Yeah.
Like, and if he doesn't, then they're gonna be in no man's land for the next 4 years, and that's the worst place to be in the NBA.
They're gonna have to just move him immediately. I honestly think this is the year where if you don't get 20 and 10 from Jaren Jackson, and I know it might sound a little bit
It does
aggressive,
sound a little bit aggressive. He just
I'm
want a
moving
decoy.
him. If
He
he's
just-
not
I mean, he was 18
Marcus
and
Smart
7.
just want to depoy. You move people. People get moved.
He's got a point.
Got it.
Like he was
Got it.
18-7 last year with 3 blocks. Like, but once again, not bad
18
at all.
and 7 with 3 blocks is wow.
Not
Yeah,
bad
and
at
we
all.
watched a whole lot of
sorry,
Memphis
bro.
games. No disrespect. You could say those numbers. It didn't feel as effective as they sound. And I think he had a good year. A great year.
He had
But when you
the best
say
year of his career.
those numbers, it gives you a light bulb that wasn't actually happening when you watch the games. Those numbers aren't as impactful as they sounded.
I don't know about the 18 and
Defensively,
7.
it was.
No, I'm not even gonna
Oh, yeah.
argue about him being he's
Defensively,
depoy.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, like, I don't know about the 18 and 7, but the 3 blocks I felt. Like, I
We
realized.
didn't say he needed 4 blocks. We said he needed to do what this year?
20 and 10.
And he was 18 and 7. I need 20 and 10.
And he's to be
It's-
impactful 20 and 10.
It's doable. It's doable.
I think it is.
I don't think anybody's arguing the talent.
If he doesn't do it, I'm saying now I have to look
All
at
I
him
know
as
is-
to whether you want to
all
do
I
it
know
or
is
not.
we're
the
asking.
only thing I'll
here's
say
a-
is
go for
he's
it.
only 23 still.
Facts.
Which is kind of crazy.
No,
to
Like
say
facts.
you
out
trying
loud.
to trade away a 23-year-old D-boy is nuts to me.
I don't
Marcus
think
Smart is what 30? He just turned 30.
31, something.
Like, come
First
on,
of
bro.
all,
it's
I'm
not the
not
same.
trying to trade.
No, that's exactly what you said.
I did not say
You
that.
said-
I said if he cannot scramble up 20-10 while Ja Morant is missing 25 games this year and you're the man on that
Marcus
team,
Smart's only 29.
mentally, I'm going to have to think about moving Jaren Jackson Jr.
That's
It's
nuts.
I don't think that's
On a
that crazy.
23-year-old D-boy. That is
I guess
nuts.
my
When I
question would
said possibly we're going to have to move on from Trae Young if we're at Atlanta Hawks because now we have Murray and blah, 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 blah. And he was 23-24, just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Ain't nobody call me crazy. We said, oh, we see the issues that Trae Young is going to
I
have.
said he won't. Anyway, sorry.
He didn't win D-boy. He didn't win. He won the first team All-NBA that year.
Bro,
Like we did not look at Trey. We did not look at Trey and think he was.
Stats might
We
have
did
been
not
fabricated
we did
by
not
that
look at
facility.
Trey and think he was a top
the
3
stats
point
keeper from the
We
Grizzlies.
did
Not
not
to
look
say
at
they
Trey.
inflating stats.
We did not look
Was
at
that not
Trey.
reported?
We did not look at Trey and think he was a top 3-point guard after that season.
Is Jaren Jackson Jr. a top 3 power forward?
He's a top 3 defender, obviously. What are we
That's
talking
not what
about?
I asked. That is not what I asked. That is not what I asked. That's the definition of changing the question. You just asked. You just hit me with. Is he a
He's a
top 3
top-
power forward? You just said point guard. I'm saying power forward. Let's
I'm
go.
looking.
So-
I'm
so-
looking
so-
for.
Is
I'm
Trae
looking
Young a
for a
top-
lane to put him in. I'm looking for a lane to put him
You
in.
said top 3 defenders.
and you're gonna say what playmaker?
is Trae Young a
And I'm
top
gonna
3
say there's
playmaker?
a lot more playmakers in the league than good defenders out there. Steph Curry, LeBron James, like there's so many. So it's a different
I was
pool
just
to
making
compete
a
against.
comparable. I was just trying to find a comparison.
I'm saying if I'm willing to move on from somebody like Trae Young, and
If you want to move on Trae Young, you're willing to move on from Jaren Jackson. I got
and
you.
not necessarily right now, but if you're not 20-10 this year, that is something that is going to be brought up in my offices with my with my peers if I'm the GM.
With your assistant GM, you're gonna start looking at packages. Is what you're saying. Like you'll start floating out hypothetical.
I think if he
packages.
starts the next year again and it's not looking like 2010 by the end of that trade deadline for sure. So we're going into the 24 year. He might be saved by 2025. I will move him if he's not
Yeah.
2010.
I don't believe him. You're
you're-
telling me this, but I think
you think he's gonna hit
you're
2010?
podding. I think you're podding. I think.
When have I ever came up here and lied?
I think
When have I ever came up here and
honestly,
lied?
We're back, baby.
I think you're
I
lying.
don't know whenever
I'm
I
not
came
gonna
here and
lie.
sat down,
There's
looked
no
you in the
way.
face and
There's
lied
no way.
about Jaren
There is
Jackson
no way.
Jr.
I think there's no way. I think you think
that's the
you
one time I'm
trade
lie
a
about?
23-year-old defensive player of the year who can stretch the floor and get down and protect the rim. There is no way.
You're
Away
right.
from
I would trade a
away
possible
from-
24, 25-year-old Jaren Jackson Jr. because definitely said if
so
this year,
he's only getting closer to his prime. He's only getting more stronger. He's only getting more athletic. Like, what are we talking about? No, you're lying. You're lying.
so
I don't believe
you're gonna keep him for the next 5 years regardless.
I don't believe you. Is what I'm
No,
saying.
I'm just saying.
I know you're not trading him after next season. That's what I
If
know.
he's not
I know
20-10, I am going to be looking
if my
at
boy,
packages.
if he averaged 18-9, even through these 25 games, and they were successful with his three blocks, and he's shooting the ball at a nice clip, the way we've seen him improve
if
upon.
it felt like it did last year, then yeah. Because
believe
like
you.
how I led this conversation,
I don't believe
the
you.
numbers
You're not
that
gonna
brought
trade
was
him from.
18,
You're not going to
73
trade a
did not feel as
perfect.
impactful
You're not
to
going
me.
to trade a quality piece, complimentary piece to your point guard, and we've seen them be effective. We're not. No, and they're only getting better and they're closer to their prime. No, along with Desmond Bain.
I feel bad for
No,
bringing
I don't
this up
believe
now.
you. I don't believe you. I'm sorry.
I don't know why you
believe
feel bad. I mean, I understand.
I mean,
But have I ever sat
what
here
I'm
and caped for Jaren Jackson
I'm
like
just
I
saying-
wouldn't have traded him? Like I'm trying to
I'm-
figure out why is it that much of a surprise
I'm just
that I am
saying-
willing to say that if Jaren Jackson in the next year and a half does not average 20-10 in an impact or that 18-8, whatever, if it doesn't feel as impactful as it's supposed to be, why am I crazy for thinking about moving this guy? I don't know why that's such a
My point
no-go
was
zone.
just-
Like, what has he done to say no, he's not getting traded?
My original point has just always been
he hasn't done anything to say to get traded yet. That's my point. He's only
I didn't say I was trading him.
he's
I said he
only-
has to hit a certain mark.
He's
I
only
agree.
getting better, bro. He's only getting better. And
We gonna
he's
see.
20. He's gonna be 24 after next season, and you over here talking about
And then
let's put him on the
let's
block.
say
Like, what are we
hypothetically,
talking
right?
about?
He's 29 and he still hasn't accomplished the jump that I wanted him to have. Now all I did was just sit on Jaren Jackson and I could have traded him at his height. Y'all always talk about moving people when they're hot. I don't know why everything is getting changed up because of Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, that's the name we're dying on?
I didn't say I disagree with you, so.
I just don't believe you. First and foremost, you get two players back to back that are quality all-star level players. One is a superstar in your point guard. As long as the point guard keeps his gun away, we're cool. For sure. As long as he keeps his gun away, he's playing 82, 70 games, and he's going to lead your mob.
All NBA.
You got this stretch 4-5 that's capable, unicorn-esque kind of player that's capable of shooting the rock. We've seen him set screens and pop. We've seen him set screens and roll and catch the lob. We've seen him win the Defensive Player of the Year at 23, and you're telling me you're going to trade him at 24 because he didn't meet some stats?
I didn't say stats. I said impactful. I said impactful.
You said 20 and 10.
And I changed that. Hold up. No, we can run this back because I'm not tripping. Greg is going around my entire conversation about this, right?
Yeah,
he said 20 and 10. He said an impactful 20 and 10.
I said it had to be 20 and 10. And then he said, so if he goes 18 and 9 or whatever. I said, if that says impactful. Because it's all on wax. I don't even know why you're sitting here acting like I'm not saying this.
Greg don't like it.
And he just doesn't like it. And that's okay. Just say you don't like it. Don't say I'm lying. Don't say I don't believe it. Say Greg Beacham does not agree with Tamon King. And that could be it. But I'm not lying about this. I never sat here and backed Jaren Jackson Jr. on any of these podcasts. All right,
I'll say this.
I said about moving Jaylen Brown.
You're right.
What are we talking about? I'm on point. This is me regular.
I'm consistent.
I'll say this. Greg Beacham does not agree with Tamon King.
If I'm tripping, you can say that too. If you think I'm tripping, I'm cool with that. And I don't
believe you. I'm sorry. You can't make me start believing you. Right? I don't care. I don't
really care if you believe me or not.
Respect the fact that I just don't believe you. Just respect the fact that I don't believe you.
It's just consistent to what I usually say, right?
We can move on.
This is not trade. I said on wax, they should think about trading Jaylen Brown.
My original point.
I don't understand why
completely different situation, but okay. Completely different situation.
My whole original point was simply, if Jaren Jackson can't take another step forward into possible at least top 20-ish player status, Memphis needs to find someone who will.
Okay, pause. Do you agree with that? Because that's what I'm saying exactly. No. Let's not clean it up.
I'm just saying that was my original point.
Because he just said next step. That next step to me was very specific and looking like whatever. I just threw something out there. Do you agree with what Brian just said, or do you think he's lying too? Because he just said exactly what I said.
I'm saying one season should not be the deadline on this kid. Y'all want to make that move at 24 years old.
Whoa. Don't say y'all. I sat here quietly. I didn't say a word.
You want to make this move the next offseason.
You just said what I just said, right?
You want to make the move the next offseason.
You just said what I just said.
No, you said 24.
I just said they got to figure out.
Come on, you said 24.
If he's the guy.
Okay, what's your timeline?
Huh?
He needs 2-3 years, bro. By 26, 27.
I say year and a half.
26, 27.
I say by 25.
We should know what he's capable of in terms of his ceiling. 26, 27, we should know.
I agree with you. I said I'm moving him before that. I'm moving him before I know.
You're trading.
Well, before everybody else knows.
Hey, we can move on. I'm
gonna move him when his ceiling's the highest and when I know.
It's a two-part plan. You also got to see how good Desmond Bane is as well. So
okay, yeah, true.
If Desmond Bane's the one that takes that step
Brian
forward,
want to be a GM. The question is, you gonna trade a guy that just won DPOY at 23 years old the following season?
Depends.
At 24.
I gotta see what the rest of
my
the
man got to blow out his ACL, Achilles, all that in the third for me to even think, okay, maybe he's not going to be.
You know what? Nah.
Like, that's what it would take.
You know what I think it is?
That's exactly what it would take.
I don't think Jaren Jackson Jr. is like that. That's what it is.
Okay.
I don't think he's as good as everybody else thinks he is. Because I think that's what it is right now. And I think he's a great, phenomenal player. But no, I don't think he's the second best player eventually on a championship mob.
Okay.
And that's where I would live. So in the next 2 years, if I think he's approaching that, then I am wrong.
Okay.
But within that year and a half, excuse me, I just said 2 years, but I've been keeping it a year and a half. Within that year and a half, if he does approach it, I'm wrong. If he doesn't, then I would move him. But I don't think he's the second best player on the championship mob. I think that's the next step you were talking about. Mm-hmm. I threw out some numbers and stuff like that Greg didn't like necessarily, but I promise you I was trying to keep it in spirit of exactly what B said afterwards. So
fair.
Fair.
I hope Jaren Jackson takes that step. Anyway.
I hope so too for Memphis, but
like I just don't want Ja Morant to end up in the Chris Paul situation.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I would have
I
agreed
agree
with
with
that if Giant do all this dumb stuff to himself this pass.
yeah,
I
Like,
mean, just
I
talking
can't. I'm
on the
sorry.
court,
I'm
I
talking about
on
the basketball
court.
team on the court. I'm
don't care. I'm sorry. You just he
I feel you.
almost shot himself in the foot, literally, metaphorically. Like, I don't know what else. I don't have any sympathy for John Morant.
You're not wrong.
Shout out T Morant saying like his son need to take accountability and do all that. Yeah, I respect that.
Tomorrow I'm gonna let you do some slandering.
Oh yeah,
He's like-
I got
France
a little bit
eliminated.
off. I didn't feel that bad about JJ.
France is eliminated.
Gobert suck. Rudy Gobert sucks. I watched like maybe 3 France
I
games.
didn't
in
know
FIBA.
this is where we were going.
Rudy Gobert is trash. He's garbage. He's no. I'm getting it all off, bro. Rudy Gobert is the main reason that Brian and I had an argument about the Timberwolves last year. It wasn't about Cat. I was talking about Rudy most of it.
I feel you.
Rudy some booty. And that's just what it is. I don't really have much to say after that because I actually did like the way France started a lot. I like Evan Fournier, of course, like he becomes like a different kind of player internationally. That France team is getting older. They're gonna have to
Revamp.
Yep. Wemby didn't play in the group stages, of course. They looked like a much better team when he was on the floor. But obviously, if you're expecting your 19-year-old to carry you and you're a country like France, I don't care how generational that 19-year-old is.
That's not
yeah,
fair.
exactly. And regardless, even though Wemby's out, they shouldn't look this bad. Like France looks bad. That's the only way you can really say it from the time that we've seen them as a top basketball like power. So I'm gonna put a lot of that into I want to work on threes in the summer, even though none of my employers are gonna let me shoot them.
Facts.
Rudy Gobert. I'm probably too harsh on him right now, but I don't care.
Nah. All right. So this sounds so old head of me. I think if you're a big man, if you are a big man, a true big, and
7 foot, you're a footer.
You a footer. You a footer.
He's a footer. Like 7'3".
And you don't have that quickness, for good feet, all that in the third, you better be able to master a jump hook before you decide you want to shoot a 17-footer. That's my rule if I'm a coach. That is my rule as a coach.
Just don't make sense.
If you can't give me 18 jump hooks out of 20, and you decide you want to go out and start
Bro, I honestly don't think he can give you 18 out of 20 with nobody guarding him. I don't get it.
don't want to see you shooting no three. That's my rule if I was a coach. I know it sounds super old head of me, but
Got the
dunk on it, bro.
The
Play
Rudy
to your
rule.
strength,
The
bro.
Rudy rule.
God
If you
bless
cannot
you.
hit within 10 feet, you cannot shoot from
God
outside.
bless
of it.
you with 7 feet to stand against the rest of humanity.
Catch it
on
high,
the
keep it
court.
high.
And you telling me you can't get on the low block and
No.
make a jump
No, he
jump
can't.
hook?
No, he can't.
I'm
Greg.
not asking you to shoot a sky hook. That's tough. That takes a lot of skill, sky hook. I don't think people realize that.
No, it takes a lot.
You can't drop step,
No, he can't.
put it off the glass
No, he
on a
can't.
consistent
No.
basis. But you want to practice threes? if I'm Minnesota,
You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing because you traded your life away for this man, which nobody knows why.
hey, if I'm Minnesota coach and I saw that his first day in training camp, I'm getting a rack of basketballs. I'm putting him on the low block by himself. I said, you spend 2 hours here because with the atrocity I saw you doing in the offseason means you're not ready for this season.
I ain't gonna hold you. You try to do that. You hope you can do that. But with somebody
That's
like Rudy
hilarious,
Gobert, you might
bro.
just go cry in the car because I don't think nothing's gonna change.
That's hilarious.
I don't think anything's gonna change. I do not think he's gonna come to the NBA attempting threes though. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I
But I
don't
do
think
think
so.
it's hilarious.
Oh no, like why? Like why?
Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't sure he'll sign an extension with the Bucks.
Oh, you know, Lakers fan love this now. Time to get the machine out.
So, for those who don't know, Giannis Antetokounmpo will be eligible for a 3-year, $173 million extension.
Ooh-wee.
However, in an interview with the New York Times, he revealed that he isn't planning on signing an extension in the near future.
Smart.
The real question is not going to be this year, numbers-wise. It doesn't make sense, Antetokounmpo says. But
Mhm.
next year, next summer, it would make more sense for both parties. Even then, I don't know. I would not be the best version of myself if I don't know that everybody's on the same page. Everybody's going for a championship. Everybody's going to sacrifice time away from their family like I do. And if I don't feel that, I'm not signing.
I ain't signing.
And so those were the words of Giannis. How do we feel?
Stand on that. And they just signed his brother. He got the whole family on it. He got leverage. I love this. He controls the entire Milwaukee Bucks organization. It's like he's the Mbappe of the NBA. Like it's but enough with the banter. I honestly think that this is right. I think he has the right headspace because Giannis is the type of person who does think about winning. And when he says something like this, I don't believe that Giannis is like a liar or a flip-flopper. I don't think we're gonna have a James Harden situation or a lot of these other superstars in the past situation. You can name a few of them. As far as him signing an extension this summer, I didn't think it made sense either in terms of the money. So it would make sense to wait another year. But in terms of playing in the long future, the Bucks, and I've said this before, have to figure out a way to either recreate or get somebody else in to reproduce Middleton's production that championship year. He was the perimeter closer on that team. After Middleton got hurt, big shout out to Drew Holiday being Drew Holiday and everything that he does, but he's not a perimeter closer in terms of scoring, in terms of creating a shot. That's what the Bucks always needed more of, and they filled that in with a couple of role pieces and bench pieces here and there. But you need a certified number 2, and right now that's supposed to be Chris Middleton. But since he's coming off of injury, still recovering, he looked good in some of the later games, but do you really think this is the guy that can be number 2 next to Giannis in the near future to win chips? I would say no. Giannis has his head in the right space if he's thinking about winning championships. Yeah. It sucks because a small market team like Milwaukee, you always want them to be able to keep their stars, especially the ones they drafted and especially the ones that they've won with. So this is a particular scenario where you have one in Milwaukee. I don't care what year it was. I don't care if it wasn't any fans, whatever. Everybody went through the same kind of ordeal. They won. You played phenomenal in the final, so it wasn't fluke then. So no, you can stand 10 toes on whatever you want to say right now, Giannis. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. Either side, whether he leaves or whether they actually get him help. Because I can see him just staying and still not getting that help, which would be sad for me as an NBA fan. Wanting to see him on a bigger stage. But right now, in my opinion, Milwaukee aren't championship contenders. And that's not because they are missing a whole lot. I just have to see somebody step up to be an actual number 2, the way Chris Middleton was that one year. So the likelihood of him leaving, I say about 35% right now. And that's high. That's high for me. Like having a statement like this is,
I'm going higher.
I'm at 70.
You at 70?
That he leaves.
I was gonna say 65.
Ooh.
Like I'm up there.
And it's
up there.
Like,
go ahead.
It's only because I look at the roster and I'm like, there is no feasible way
to make it work.
Yeah. You just gave Chris Middleton the extension. 3 years, I think, what was it, 90 mil?
Something like that.
Like, they're committed to this roster for the next at least 2 years, unless you're going to find a way to get off Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton.
You got to cross your fingers for a disgruntled star.
Exactly. But even
they're not
that
able to
is
get
like
Drew Holiday because Drew Holiday's talking about retirement.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't see a feasible way to make this roster work. And I said this last summer. I'm like, when I look at this roster, it's like, yeah, you got Chris and you got Giannis and you got Drew, but like the roster doesn't have a lot of athletes. It's getting older. Like, it's very much like this year right here might be their last real shot at it.
Yeah.
And then it's over. And I think even Giannis kind of, I'm sure he has a ton of people in his ear and he has a ton of people around him telling him the same thing. Like, Brook Lopez is 35. Like, how much longer is he going to be able to do this? Yeah. Drew Holiday's 33. Low kid. Like, quiet as kept. He's 33. Like, these guys aren't getting better. Giannis is about to be 30.
Yeah, I was say he's about 28 now.
Yeah, he's 28, 29. Like, he's about to be 30. This ain't a young team. This is not, we have a window. Like, no, the window was the last 3 years you had. You got one out of it. In the last 2 years, Middleton's been hurt and you haven't been able to capitalize.
Yeah.
This year, hopefully Middleton walks into the season healthy and he's able to play healthy. And like you said, they can recreate possibly what they had.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know if it'll be enough.
Facts.
So, and then after this year, I'm definitely sure it's not enough.
Yeah, this is the last year of their window for sure.
So, I think there's a very good possibility he walks out the door. Or,
get traded,
sign and trade, as it always goes.
You don't think they'll be able to, hypothetically, Middleton starts off the year looking good.
Mm-hmm.
you don't think they can jump the gun and try to see into the future? We're not going to be able to keep him and try to flip him for something else. And I'm not saying, oh, that's an easy take because that's why I put 35% to be my high, only because it's so early right now that I'm not going to say he's absolutely out the door. But everything's pointing the way you just described it. I think it's going to be really hard to revamp that roster, but that's what they're going to need to do.
So then the question becomes, because you essentially have to trade him for somebody that's kind of similar at least.
At least.
So it's like, who's the person that you're going to get that's kind of similar that the team would want Chris Middleton? Like the Clippers with Paul George?
I was about to say PG. That's the only way, but you'll have to add something.
But
for
like,
that.
why would the Clippers do that?
Yeah.
Like you're trading for a worse version of Paul George.
You just got to hope somebody gets...
Who has just as many health concerns.
Yeah.
Like it's
you got to
the
hope for a
same
disgruntled
scenario.
star, I guess.
Like I'm literally just trying to run off like teams in my head like that would even consider that. I got to pull up Basketball Reference just so I can look at teams.
Yeah, I don't think the Bucks are capable of rebuilding in the window. For him to
Pascal Siakam to Toronto.
It wouldn't make sense next time to him and Giannis, in my opinion.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, like I don't.
Jaylen Brown. Like I don't.
Nah.
That gets even crazier.
Jaylen would have to request a trade like this season.
He would have to request the trade and then say, "I only want to play with Milwaukee." Not happening.
And Giannis ain't recruiting nobody.
So
at least not recruiting anybody well.
Like I just maybe Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell says he wants out,
he's gonna get out of there. Yeah.
So like maybe they say, okay, well we'll take Middleton as a vet. We still got Garland, Allen. We still got a young core with Evan Mobley. Like we just need a vet alongside
that's a nice little
him.
quick
Mitch wants
trade.
a big market.
But Mitch wants a big market.
Oh yeah.
But like at the same time, maybe you could entice him with, hey, like it's you and Giannis, bro. Like that's a dynamic duo.
He gonna tell Giannis, hey, we going over here.
Facts.
More than likely. Like
I don't think the Bucks are capable of building in the window for him to say, I'm willing to stay here and hang out. You just got him a new coach again. He wasn't too fond. If we remember the history,
he was mad when Jason Kidd got out of there.
Exactly.
Yeah, even though it was the right decision.
And so now Budenholzer gone. He's not too fond of Budenholzer being gone. And he's gonna start seeing all of his friends go because all of his friends are older than him.
Yeah, that trade request might come sooner than I think.
So
it's a very interesting situation.
I think he's out of here.
And I think the owner just got out too. They just changed the owners. I think the owner saw the writing on the wall as well.
Yeah.
Like
we ain't gonna have this one of the greatest international players ever on our team. Might as well sell.
Let me go ahead and sell, make my money, and I'm out. Like so, yeah.
It's interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm curious to what's the destination that he'll think of. Like, is it the Lakers? I don't think so.
People say AD for Giannis would be the one thing to keep Milwaukee interesting. So they might
if I'm
go for
Milwaukee
that
at that point, you might as well just go for the full.
I'm calling up OKC and just be like, hey, can we just trade off all these picks and give me a couple of them young boys and
that is the interesting thing about Giannis. While yes, there will be a lot of people trying to push him to a big market. I don't think he cares about a big market. I think he just wants to be in a scenario where
he's winning.
He's winning and he's in a good place where he can raise his family and everything else.
And OKC would be that spot.
OKC would be a crazy location.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was somebody else on tip of my tongue. It's just slipping me now. I can't remember. It'll come back to me later. Oh, San Antonio.
It ain't gonna happen.
Y'all say it. They got the cap space.
They do got the cap space.
They got Victor.
It's not gonna happen.
All right.
You think they'll trade Victor?
It's not gonna happen.
I'm not saying they're gonna. I'm saying they're gonna keep Victor.
Oh, okay.
And trade
and pair him with Giannis.
Oh, okay.
That's
what I would thought you was at first.
I don't know
you said
how
they got
you can
Victor,
create a better package than OKC can if you don't include Victor.
I agree.
So the only way I can understand that is if it's a nod, wink, wink between Poppins and the Bucks.
That's
which
what
could happen.
All this comes down to.
Yeah, I was about to say which could happen, but if we're talking about best deals, then San Antonio should be out of there. I don't think they would have any kind of deal.
They still got a lot of young players over there. Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, just got Sochan. There's a lot of young, intriguing players over there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about.
And they still have all their draft picks.
All their draft picks. Yeah, I'm just thinking about all the teams that just. Yeah.
The OKC is definitely Like OKC's definitely going to be the premier package because they just have the most picks possible.
The most picks possible.
And the Nets could try to make something work.
And we also got some players.
Y'all got
that
some players. Y'all got the
Ardrey,
Williams.
like Chet.
Y'all can throw Giddey in there if y'all wanted to.
Throw Chet in there if we wanted to. Like,
so there's definitely OKC definitely will have the premier package.
But I think it's
opinion.
more important too because Giannis is definitely going to want to say like, hey, I'm not signing anything unless I have trade and I have a chance to win like right now at least playoffs.
Yeah.
You go to San Antonio, no disrespect to them, but they're going to give up everything to have you and Victor. Y'all aren't doing much those first 2 years. I don't care how good y'all are.
Him and Victor, all you need is 3 competent NBA players. And you're in contention. I'm sorry.
I love to see that.
I'm that high on Victor.
I love to see that. I have to see Boyd play a little bit more, of course. But granted, this trade will happen in a year or two.
Exactly.
So,
We're talking about 2 years in. Victor, a little bit more muscle probably.
Yeah.
Adjusted to NBA life. And I'm sorry. If I saw Victor and Giannis, that's where I'm going to play.
I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Free
I'm not
agent.
mad at that.
Hey, I'll go play with Pop. Even I don't know if he'll still be coaching there in 3 years.
He'll be coaching.
If I get Giannis,
old,
I'm a
bruh.
no,
Pop
bro.
is
You coach
old,
till you
bruh.
die if you got that. Like
Exactly.
seriously,
Exactly.
You have to. You
Like,
have to.
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like what?
I agree.
I mean, I feel you. I probably would try too.
He's padding his stats. That's what he's doing.
I mean, low-key, he's been hurting his record. the
Oh
last
yeah, his
couple
winning
years.
percentage has been hurting, but
down, but
he got whippy now,
He got
so-
whippy now, and then I get Giannis.
hey, you
bro.
gotta stay down till you come up. Like y'all know
Exactly.
it. Pop been broke before.
Pop 74, y'all.
Hey, man. Sometimes
He
you roll
could
the
have
Ain't
job at
Biden
8.
like 74? I'm pretty sure being president is like way more stressful than being
It's
NBA
probably more
coach.
stressful mentally, but physically, being an NBA coach is on the road that much, at the game.
It's Pop. He could coach home games. We've seen stuff like that happen in
Exactly.
NBA.
No, for
like
real.
it's Pop, dog.
For
Like
real,
he can coach. He can coach via
Y'all
Zoom.
not wrong.
Like
I'm just
I do what I
saying,
want.
bro.
My man would be
Exactly.
41-0 at home.
no, that's serious. You, the house that Pop built is gonna be crazy.
Until the wheels fall off.
And
Y'all
literally
not
off the
wrong.
chair.
Until the
Like,
wheels
For
fall
real.
off.
Y'all not wrong. Y'all not wrong. I ain't mad.
no,
at it.
greatest coach of all time. He goes when he wants to go.
Hey, I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just saying.
And he is getting up there though. Yeah, Pop, slow down if your health does.
Oh man.
But
All right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
70%, 65, 35.
yeah.
We'll keep tabs on that.
It's gonna go up for me, but right now, as of today, I feel like
Yeah.
it's under
how they start
rather
this
than over.
season is going to be interesting. But I'll just leave it at that. We'll get into our whole season preview once we get out of the World Cup. But
Last one, real quick, because we still talking about the Bucks. What if? Because you said how they start the season. Dame didn't get traded yet. What if somehow they can pull off a Dame trade, like get Dame and keep Giannis? Does that changes a lot, right? If Dame is willing to go to Milwaukee, if he finally says, okay, it's not just the Heat.
I don't see any feasible way it happens, but Dame and Giannis would be very intriguing.
What's that? I don't know. I feel I don't see a package there for real. For real,
Yeah,
Dame doesn't
like-
have a no trade clause to me. If you're
Does, but,
Portland,
like, I don't see why they would take that package and not a ton of other packages at that point.
I'm just trying to figure out. I would love to
Like,
keep
if all it takes
Giannis in
is-
Milwaukee.
If
I
all
guess.
it takes is Drew Holiday and
Chris
players, like,
And yeah,
because I think at that point, because you can't swap any of them straight up.
because
So,
the money
like,
wouldn't work.
money will work. I don't even think Milwaukee has all their draft picks like that. They traded a lot of them for Drew Holiday. Like, yeah, it would have to be a complete overhaul of both teams
Yeah.
to even make that feasible.
Or you have to add a third team.
Or add a third team. So, while yes, Dame in Milwaukee would be very intriguing.
Yeah,
I just
the
don't see it
likelihood of them
feasible.
able to make it work.
Yeah.
Portland's
Yeah.
just being difficult. Portland's just being difficult.
Nah, I don't blame them.
I-
I don't blame them. Sit
Uh-oh.
on wait until you get something you like. Now they should have got something they liked already, but if you haven't, somebody gonna play ball.
Okay. We're not going to argue on this one.
Somebody gonna give them
I'm
what they want.
choosing to not argue. Because I just think it's a shame.
Oh, you think they're wasting Dame's like?
They are wasting Dame's time.
Oh, true. But I'm talking about getting what they want back. It's not about Dame anymore.
It
As
is-
soon as you request that trade, bro, love you. Best player in Portland history,
No.
in my
We're gonna make
opinion.
this work.
I'm getting
No.
back
We're gonna make
what
it-
I
yeah.
want for you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Now, does he deserve better? Sure.
He deserves better.
Well,
He
business is
deserves
business.
better.
Business is
no,
business.
No,
You know that
no.
that
Yeah.
that video of the coach being like, "Bring me my
Yeah, man, bring me that trade package.
Bring me my picks.
Like
I said
bro.
2 more first round picks.
The
on
only
that.
reason it's hard for me to feel so bad for Dame is because you had so many other opportunities to ask out, want out.
Yeah, I've been saying this
get
the last
out.
3 off seasons.
Last 3
Like
off.
you've had even this year, you waited until after the draft,
when
which
they
would
already
have been
drafted.
the premier time to get rid of you to ask. Like it feels like you literally waited until Portland was in the worst position to move you.
And if I'm Portland, I'm gonna sit here and I'm
And
gonna
at
wait
that
until I'm in the best position to trade you.
I look at it completely different. I look at it from the player's perspective of saying, I'm giving you guys every opportunity for me not to leave. I don't want to leave. I really want to stay here. I don't want to leave. Help me. Help me. Help me.
Yeah.
Fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Every opportunity, all the way up until the 12th hour. We get to the 12th hour and you still don't do anything to help me because you're just incapable of it.
Right.
We both agree you're incapable of helping
I
me.
tried, couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it. You
Yeah.
couldn't meet the standard.
Right.
All right. I gave you 12 years. 13?
Something like that.
13 years of my career. I filled these seats. Nobody else filled these seats in here.
I did
This
say
team don't
brick by
exist. Brick by brick. It was me. CJ
Yeah.
McCollum don't fill these seats.
Yeah,
You right.
I fill these seats.
This is where I'm.
And
mean,
so-
'cause I look at you like you ain't put no banners up. Shut up.
Oh, but I put money in everybody's pocket around here. Everybody walk around here with a Dame Time t-shirt on.
And what's your contract say?
Everybody walk around here with a Dame Time
you-
t-shirt
you-
on.
your
you
contract
got
say?
No,
compensated
bro.
very heavily.
No. You gotta do right by me. And you gotta, all right, send
This
me
is
on,
weird
bro.
because I'm never
Send
on
me
this side. I'm
Send me
generally
on, bro.
defending.
Well,
The last couple of
I would-
years,
Send me
I've
on.
been on
I
Dame's
would have
side.
agreed with you
Send me
3
on.
years ago.
Send me on, bro.
3 years ago, I was
Send
like,
me
yeah,
on.
they got like he's done everything he can. Move
You don't-
him. But
you don't do that, bro.
You waited.
You don't
so
do that.
long to ask for what everybody in the NBA world knew was obvious.
Oh, I give you one off season. Let's just say it is an off season of inconvenience. And I've had 13 years of inconveniences from you.
I
Are you
inconvenienced
serious?
you
Are you
one off
serious right
season.
now?
Act like he didn't
No.
know Marcus Aldridge.
For 1 year, and then they
Come
all
on,
bounced
dog.
on him. Don't do that,
Come on,
B.
dog.
His
It's
whole
not the
starting
same.
five bounced on him after
Come
his rookie
on.
year. We're not gonna do that.
No, bro. Help me. Let me
It was
go.
longer than that.
Let me go.
It was he
Do
played
right
2
by
years
me,
with
bro.
LaMarcus.
Do right by me.
I thought after his first
Portland-
rookie year, he went to the Spurs, and then Wes Matthews went somewhere else, and Nick Batum went somewhere else. Like, I thought everybody
Portland-
left
He
him.
played 3 years with Lamarcus.
3 years with LaMarcus?
Yes.
Portland is shady,
Jeez, I
bro.
swear that went by fast.
It did go by fast.
It
'Cause I don't
did.
even think Aldridge played
We-
82, or I think I don't think he's healthy for all 3 of those years.
I
like
swear I
that.
only remember 1 year with
Like
him.
I think he was in and out.
That's my fault. Yeah.
like no, bro. Like no.
But then everybody bounced on him early.
Portland has a responsibility to a person that has held up their end of the bargain, being the poster child for their whole city and their whole franchise for 13 years. They have a responsibility to him. Let my man go to Miami, get the best offer Miami can
LaMarcus played
send you.
70 plus games every year he was there.
Yeah, I don't
and
know
do
why.
right
I just
by
wasn't
him.
watching him until that last
And
year
do
with
right by
LaMarcus,
him,
probably.
bro. Do right by him.
What was that last year? 16?
I'm sorry.
15?
I'm
No.
sorry.
15? Yeah.
That's that. That's what I got.
Once again, I would agree with you 3 years ago.
I still agree with you.
Now,
No, I seriously do. I agree with your logic and your line of reasoning, but
Not
I
shocked
get
by
what you're
Portland.
saying,
if I'm
But, like, if
Portland,
I'm
I don't
Portland-
care.
Yeah.
bruh. Like, here's the thing about it: Portland has been very honest with Dame from the jump. They've always told him, like, we're gonna try to do it, but we can't guarantee. Like, you can't guarantee teams are gonna give you a star in Portland. Like, it doesn't happen. So for you to sit here and act like you're being crazy done wrong in this scenario, when they asked you multiple times, do you want to be moved? Do you want to be moved? Do you think you still want to stay? Are you committed here? Boom, boom, boom. They kept asking you over and over and over and over again because they were willing to move you. Truth be told, and I said it on this pod, they probably wanted to move him a long time ago. And he kept saying, no, I'm good. I'm here. I'm committed. I want to do it here. I want to do it here. Okay, dude.
But you
Well,
signed
guess
that.
what? The team keeps getting younger. We can't get a feasible superstar to put around you. And we've sat here and debated over and over and over and over again. Who could they possibly have added that would even make them a contender?
Yeah.
Who? Even with the number, if they didn't draft Scoot and they had the number 2 pick, which would have been Scoot anyway,
Yeah.
who could they have traded the number 2 pick that would have put them in contention? Pascal? Cat?
People said Paul George. Like, I
Jaylen
don't.
Brown? Would any of these players put them in like certified? They're in a much better position than they were with CJ McCollum.
I'm with you.
So either Dame's dumb either he's dumb, which I don't think he is. He's
we don't think he is.
I've listened to him rap.
Yeah.
He seems like he's very intelligent.
too much.
Like, I'm being real.
No,
like, come on, y'all. There's rappers you listen to that you know that aren't that intelligent. I'm just saying. Anyway, like I'm not gonna name names. We just know who we're talking about. But like, Dame isn't dumb.
Yeah.
You could see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
So for you to now want to throw a fit because it didn't play out the way you wanted to, and because they won't oblige you perfectly,
it's not a fit.
It's annoying. I'm sorry.
He's not throwing a fit.
He is.
No, he's not. No, he's not. What a fit?
I don't think he's throwing a fit.
A fit is what's happening in Philly right now.
Harden's throwing a fit.
That's a whole different. That's a whole
fit.
different thing. But yes, Dame is throwing a fit right now. He's
It's
at his table.
fit.
He's refusing to do his work. He's just sitting there looking angrily at the teacher because he's just like, "Why are you making me do this? I don't want to eat my vegetables. Like, why am I here?" Like that's what Dame is at right now.
It's not. It's not though.
Yeah.
It's not though. It's
Nah, Dame's on a hunger strike. I get it. Like everything about Dame is self-inflicted, and everything about Harden is extroverted. And that's the most responsible PC way I can rephrase that. That is hilarious. Dame is not throwing a fit.
He's not throwing.
He's not throwing a fit. He's not anywhere close to a fit. I think he's silently fuming.
Yes.
Or you know when you're mad that like your silence is really loud. That's how it is. Like him going to an interview asking Nat to be at, or like not answering questions about Portland. We don't care about your album, bro. Like that's what people are gonna ask about. You're not getting interviewed about your bars, and they tough. They tough.
Good bars.
Yeah, no, seriously, they're tough. But I'm not asking Dame about bars when I see him. Like everybody's gonna want to know your next step. So that's why nobody can remember. That's why nobody can remember 2 minutes of that interview is because he didn't talk about anything we wanted to hear about, which is Portland. Which is why I wouldn't call it a fit. Harden had he went overseas. No, that's serious, to his ex-best friend's ops backyard. Like, that's how we got to look at it.
Crazy.
Because, all of them over there looking at Maury like, yo, you probably on a no-fly zone. So you go over there, dissing your mans.
That's your man's.
No, that's like
your
his guy, bro.
Yeah.
That is his guy.
That's your man.
That's your man.
And it's not just a regular.
No, that is your basketball wife. Like that is your like
that is the man that unleashed you into what you are.
That's your man's. When you go there on film in front of everybody in that country that does not like him, and then you sit here and you say it twice, you doubled up. It wasn't like you said it on the slate. You said it's
public
full
service
government, and you called him a liar twice. Yeah, that's full blown.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, nah, that's
Here
war
we
right
go.
there. That's war right now. Now, granted, is there more a liar? Yes, but that's how you throw a fit. Shout out to Harden too, because that is how you throw a fit. I'm so happy that he's doing all of this. It's so entertaining.
All right, so I know I just fought for the aim, and this gonna sound crazy out loud.
You're not about to flip for James Harden, are you?
You're not. I mean, you should.
No. Is Daryl Morey really a liar?
Yes.
Or did he just reevaluate?
He's
his
a liar.
funds?
He's a liar. If you said you was gonna do something and you didn't do it, you made a promise, you went back on your word. As a man, you are a liar. He's a liar because it's not what James Harden. James Harden a liar too.
Have you ever been to the store? Right, you've been to the store like, man, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna buy these shoes. I'm gonna buy these shoes. I just texted y'all.
Right.
I'm gonna buy these shoes. I'm leaving with these. You flip the shoe over like, ooh.
All right, I'm gonna show Greg the real example because I know Greg, right?
Never did that.
Greg,
I don't know. I'm gonna put these down. I'm gonna put these down. Not today. That's what I think he did.
If it was for your dad and you told him you were getting him shoes for him and you said, hey, I'm gonna get it to you. It's gonna be around this time. Boom, boom, boom. That was the conversation you had with your dad. You go to the store, it's the same thing. Price is really high now.
Yeah, I gotta get those shoes. I gotta get those shoes.
Why? Because you gave your dad your.
That's Pops. I gotta do right by Pops.
What are we talking about? Maury said, and mind you, this is all going off of how everything's been moving. It's not, James Harden said he called him a liar by not getting traded. No, that's not what it was. You took less money because you thought you were going to get this dumb bag on the back end.
Yeah.
And then when you realized you weren't, you demanded a trade.
Yeah.
And then when you realized you couldn't get to the trade destination you wanted, now you started acting out. James Harden is a liar, but I agree with his lying. It still cost him 100 racks, but I agree with his position in throwing a fit and why. Because the sentiment is, if you're Daryl Morey, you're supposed to be my man.
Yeah.
Like, as far as a combo go in the NBA, in GM and player, they were supposed to be it.
Yeah,
we're talking about 100 M's he might have missed out on. Yeah, I'm tight. to say the least.
Just a little bit.
And if I'm Daryl Morey, I would say, we made that agreement, and I
Facts.
thought you were going to be an all-star.
Facts.
Yeah, like these shoes don't even look that nice, Pop. You sure you want these? We could go. Y'all remember that Cat Williams line? Hey, now you could get this PlayStation 5, but we could go or.
It's always the or.
We can go to GameStop, and then we can get you a Nintendo 64, and you could get all these games right here.
That we know is good because a whole bunch of other kids have already played them.
It's sick. And Daryl Morey said, I'm going to pull that the first time. James Harden said, you can't do that twice. And that's how we are. That's how we are. James Harden said, it's time for the PS5. Bro said, you broke the last couple of controllers that I gave you. You're not ready and responsible for it.
Facts.
He said, I want out of here. And that's just what has happened. But James Harden, you just look back because it's like your fourth trade request in 4 years or whatever. So
Something like that.
it's one of those things where if James Harden
I do appreciate
was a championship piece, like I really thought he was, either the James Harden of old, or I thought he could actually get a team over the hump, then I would consider being on James Harden's side. This is like just watching a couple at the park argue, and like you don't really know the full argument.
You just listening.
Both sides are wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you messed up there. You messed up there. Y'all just can't find a
But they
resolution.
full out at war.
And y'all know y'all ain't supposed to leave each other. Y'all ain't gonna find nobody better than each other.
You're not.
y'all. Like,
James,
y'all
you
are
about to play
perfect
in
for each
Philly.
other.
You're going to start off fat and out of shape because you're mad, but you're going to end up playing in Philly. And that's what it's going to be. I feel bad for Philly fans.
I do feel bad.
I feel bad. I hate saying this because
I do feel
definitely
bad
been
for
on the
Philly
hate
fans.
train of this man. I feel bad for Embiid again. You just can't get us. You just can't get
I was trying to figure out if I was going to feel bad for him.
Everything Embiid has going on seems to be on the court. Like all of his issues that we've had with him,
It's on the court.
It's all on the court.
It's like, dang, bro.
And it's not even terrible.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like you
tweak this, do that.
You're either not healthy or you just don't play well.
Yeah.
Like, okay, granted, you the center James Harden. Anyway, but
That's crazy.
man,
I'll give him way more credit than that. He ain't center James Harden. Unless it's Houston Harden. Then I give you that. He'll be center Houston Harden.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, I have fair.
But
James
anyway.
got a lot of stages. But yeah,
But
continue.
anyway, like just going from the Ben Simmons drama, which granted you kind of contributed to, but
Yeah.
now to this drama, it's like, dude, like, can I please just get players around me that just are serious about winning a championship?
Yeah.
Like these guys that
Like-
want to play basketball. I
Like,
just want to
that's-
play. I want to play with guys that want to play basketball.
I mean, that's a testament to the Sixers too. And I'm one of the firm believers of just like basketball energy and stuff like that. So I think the way the Sixers BS their way into talent all those years ago, I'm not forgetting about that. Throwing away seasons after seasons after seasons instead of saying like, hey, there's things in our organization that we can fix, training, development, all of that you can work through players that you're not going to have in 5-10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
They disregarded the entire basketball process to say, no, we just need a star. And then when they got that kind of, generational talent, whether it be Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid or even pre-injury Markelle Fultz, you weren't in a position to develop it and receive it how you wanted to. I always see like quotes all the time. It's like, yeah, you're asking God for all these blessings. If he gave you everything you wanted right now, could you handle it?
Facts.
Philly could not. Philly prayed to the
you're not wrong.
basketball gods for years and years and years of winning 17 games, 20 games. Like they had a sub 20 game season. It's
I'm
ridiculous.
thinking of the game. You remember the Game of Zones episodes where they do the lottery with LeBron?
Yeah.
And he's like, y'all don't know what this means in the lottery.
They didn't
You
go
don't
this
have
route.
the pieces. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I love Embiid, and I think he was like, and is one of those kind of generational type of talents.
Yeah.
But realistically, the NBA is still made up of all pros, and many of them were looked at as those kind of, well, will they be generational talents? And it didn't pan out. So we're going to sit here and talk about a full roster. You're going to need that. You're going to need the development from the coaches, development from the training staff, even the fans to get used to having these players in the locker room. It's top to bottom.
Yeah.
And Philly skipped all of that. So I don't feel any remorse. I thought they would never get a chip with Embiid there, and it wasn't Embiid's fault. It was their own fault for how they went about getting a kind of championship level player.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest though. I thought what Sam Hinkie did was pretty creative.
You got it. You got it.
Like,
you got it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to describe that one, Bobby.
All right. So here's what we've seen, at least in other situations. And this guy's no longer an owner. And we talked about this guy when we had the conversation about Magic versus Steph Curry. Jordan's talking about some. Magic is the best.
We're not
point
going to have
guard.
that conversation.
We didn't have it. We did.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but I think everybody on this couch understands that Steph Curry is one.
Yeah.
So what now?
Steph Curry.
Okay. If Steph Curry's not the
guys,
greatest point guard ever,
y'all
why not?
Brian has Magic as his GOAT.
Exactly. So I don't know why you would said that.
Let's not.
Like that was like
Let's
such
not.
an easy
I
thing.
guess
Oh, no,
no.
no.
As long as you're going to push that, I don't care.
I just like seeing his face. I
I was about
like
to say, I just want to hear that I don't care.
You know, I'm here for fun.
Yeah.
So let's
Whenever Brian just says, I'm not going to bring out any kind of reasoning or logic, that's just what I stand on. That's what I look for.
No, like once again, I think Steph has gotten as feasibly close as humanly possible, almost as like Kobe has gotten to Jordan. Like, I think Steph still has to push one more level above, meaning he has to either win one more or he needs to sustain his level of play for like the next 2-3 seasons to firmly surpass Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, like I said, both of these guys are two very different players in how they impact the game and how they control the game. So
That's true.
to compare their on-floor impact is almost impossible because this really comes down to
I
preference.
understand what you're saying.
It comes down to preference. Magic's more versatile offensively, able to do more things on the court. Steph is easily the better shooter, better scorer, able to play off the ball better. Magic's the better rebounder, easily the better passer, probably the greatest player in transition outside of maybe LeBron James ever. Like, there are two players who have dominated the game in two different ways, and honestly, both changed the game in two totally different ways.
That's fair.
So when you're talking about on court, it's preference. Now you have to talk about winning, accolades, things of that nature. Magic has more MVPs, he has more finals MVPs, he has more championships. Like, it's the narrowest margin it can possibly be. And Magic still has them by a little bit. If Steph gets one more, I'm gonna have to come on this couch and say, Steph got it, bro. Like, I ain't got nothing left for him.
Know
He's the
who I'm
man.
rooting for this year?
Like, if Steph gets another MVP, I'll entertain the conversation.
I honestly
I'll sit here and be
think-
like, hey,
This conversation is already entertaining.
it's very entertaining. Like, it's as close as it can possibly be.
yeah.
Here's the issue.
Which goes into a whole my fault. I'm not trying to, but it goes into a whole nother thing because then I'm gonna have to start talking about Steph as possibly the GOAT. But that's a whole different discussion as well.
So
That's how the math checks out.
No, the math
That's
checks out. The math
That's
checks
how
out.
It's making
That's how the math
sense.
checks
That's how
out.
the math checks
Yeah,
That's how the math checks
I
out.
would still disagree with it, but
I feel
it
you.
makes sense because it goes as long as your reasoning for yourself is in line. I don't care what you say.
yeah, we could just go to the Steph conversation. The reason we had that conversation because I got into a barbershop conversation per usual. Anytime I go to get a cut,
Yeah.
as I'm walking out the door, my barber, shout out to Derek, he likes to ask me a basketball question, knowing to keep me for another 15, 20 minutes. Like, he knows
That you're stuck.
that I'm going to answer and I have to defend it, right? So he says, hey, I didn't ask you. You got Magic or Steph? I said, honestly, give me the light skin. Give me 30. 30 is that guy.
Yeah.
He is that guy. And he was like, I can't believe you. You too educated not to pick Magic. I said, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Steph Curry has completely changed the way the game is played in the modern era. Now, did
Facts.
Magic do that? Magic did that with the help of another guy on the East Coast that was wearing 33. Steph alone had the world deciding to 5 out,
Nah,
shoot
facts.
threes. Like, alone did that. Then we're going to talk about how he played the game. You say he's not a point guard. So when the dude that was sitting in the chair started saying, well, Steph's not really a point guard.
I hate that argument.
It's the dumbest argument.
I hate that argument.
Leak and I
It's the
had
worst
like a
argument.
45-minute
Especially with
conversation
Magic.
about that.
I hate that. I
No,
always hate
he
that
said
argument.
Steph. He said Steph
I
wasn't a
know,
point
but
guard.
I'm saying,
But with Magic.
With Magic,
Because
that's the
then they
comparison.
came back and said, well, Magic played the 5 in the final. I'm like, see, so is Magic not a point
Right.
now? Like, what are y'all doing? So I get into the whole thing and he closes it out with, he says, well, isn't your GOAT Jordan? I said, yeah, my GOAT's Jordan. He said, the GOAT says that it was Magic. And I said,
Bro, did
are you,
he just...
wait. I said, excuse me, I watched the GOAT draft Adam Morrison. You think I'm supposed to judge his development and his eye on basketball talent properly in the modern era? Now, maybe he knows about Magic, but he drafted Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Excuse me.
That draft was weak, I think. If I'm
Excuse
thinking
me.
about that year.
No.
What year was that?
Like, I'll find out.
2015?
It was before that,
14?
right? 13? Nah, not 13.
No, I was Well, it was well before that. 2012.
2012. Like, come on, bro. Like, you can. I love Jordan. Jordan, 6'6".
Yeah, Bradley Beal went right after Gilchrist.
Come on,
Oh,
kid.
never mind,
Come
Jordan,
on,
yeah.
nah. Like, respect.
Dame went 7 in that draft.
Yeah, nah, I couldn't remember
Stop
the year.
it.
I know one of those years
Stop
was
it.
weak.
Stop it. I love Jordan, and I think he's the greatest basketball player of all time. But when you start talking about how he sees the modern era basketball player, you can't put him in this conversation. You can't just bring his name up as the trump card because he's not. He's not.
What
And
Jordan
so-
said.
Not in terms of the evaluating talent.
Evaluating
Yeah.
that's what I said. Evaluating talent. You
Yeah.
cannot just put him in that. Just say, "Oh, Jordan says it doesn't work that way."
Nah, historically, he's one of the worst GMs we've seen in our lifetime.
And so, going back to our Philly conversation, if there's anybody that should have did that, it should have been the Bobcats. The Bobcats should have leaned on trusting the basketball gods because they couldn't evaluate talent at all.
I see what you're saying. You're like,
They couldn't evaluate it at all.
Y'all didn't have anything in
Jordan,
place.
get as many picks as you can. You like to gamble. Get as many picks as you can and pick and
You're right.
pick and
It would've
pick.
went with the
Go in
the Jordan
until you hit.
philosophy.
You know the only
Until
part,
you
you know,
hit, bro.
the only thing against that argument is they were still picking in the top 5 every year.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like they didn't have
Whether
to
they
pick.
tried or didn't, they were still, they were just going to pick the wrong person each and
He
every
needed
time.
more picks, man.
Like,
he
we
needed
could've
You
more,
needed
bro.
more to
Like,
pick more
He
wrong
needed more. He
people.
needed more
Like,
picks
case in
in
point,
those drafts.
If we gave him 3 picks in that draft, in that 2012 draft, he'd have took Kid Gilchrist,
Yeah.
Terrence Ross,
Yeah.
Tyler Zeller.
Facts.
He's definitely
Facts.
taking Zeller because
I was
Zeller's
about
a
to say
Tar Heel.
Zeller's, yeah, Zeller's the one.
He wouldn't have took Dame. He
my
wouldn't have took
gosh.
Brad.
He definitely wouldn't have took Dame.
That's hilarious. No, that's
He'd have skipped over Harrison.
Yeah,
That's
I
funny.
don't know why. Even Stephen A. Smith went on like First Take or something like that and was like,
Yeah.
"Well, Jordan called me in the middle of the night and said it was Magic." So
So don't mean anything. To
I'm
me.
like, so
Once again,
Don't mean anything to me.
I love the argument simply because it forces, granted, if you're having a logical basketball argument, it forces you to actually have a real
It
basketball
has to be a
debate.
nuanced conversation.
It's a very nuanced conversation. And granted, once again, I think it literally just comes down to preference, like right now between the two, because in terms of accolades and everything in between, they're similar. I think Magic has just a few more accolades in terms of trophies. Steph has maybe the greatest offensive season of all time with that unanimous MVP. Like, there's so many arguments and ways you could take this.
Yeah.
And like I said, you just have to stand on what you say. Like, whatever your consistency is, stand on it. Like,
I look at it, and Magic Johnson came into the league along with Larry Bird,
mhm.
and it was already etched in terms of how the league was going to present them. In terms
But they had to
of,
hold up their end of the bargain.
they had to hold it up, and they
They
did.
did.
They did.
No,
we
they
knew they were
for sure
going to
did.
do that back after the national
there was a
championship.
lot of league backing, but they
Like,
sure
we,
did
we
themselves.
knew they were going to do that at the national championship.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it wasn't
I
like
think
it was
the expectation, but how often do expectations fail? Like, come on, man. Like, we've seen so many guys come in who were supposed to be and just didn't. Like, once again, and this is, think about it. We're not saying like Larry Bird wouldn't have been good, but to think that Larry Bird and Magic, who I both think are in the top 5 of all time, you can make an argument top 10, wherever. To think those two guys are going to walk into the league and immediately be top 10 players.
and
Like, that's what they walked into the league as.
And that's my point. Like, they came in, and while it does point to the greatness of those two, but it also points to
the greatness surrounding them. Or was that what you were gonna go?
No. I was gonna go to it points to greatness of those two, but also it's a complementary greatness. Like, is Magic Johnson really gonna be the Magic Johnson the way we see him without Larry Bird?
Might be better.
I don't.
Like, if you take either one of them out, that means only one of them gets the spotlight. Magic probably walked away with at least 6 rings now.
But the
'cause
league-
he
but the-
lost the
You're
Bird.
saying would the league still
Would the
push
league
the
have pushed them?
individual rather than a duo?
Yeah, the league needed both those. Like, the narrative is
the story they spun.
The story they spun
Was
is
built
we
for them
need
too.
both these two to be them. Like, they have to be all of themselves.
I'm with you.
In order to make this happen. You take one of them out, then now it just becomes a thing. Oh, we just have a flashy 6'8" dude. Now he's that dude.
I think they would both
He's
have
that
walked away
dude.
with their careers looking way better because they wouldn't have lost to each other.
But I don't know if it
Like,
I don't know
the
if
NBA may not have survived.
I don't know if it points to their greatness without each other. Like, their greatness is the fact
And so
that
they're
they both,
interconnected.
Yes.
That is Bird and
They
Magic,
have to
Magic
be.
and Bird.
The only argument I'll make against that is Jordan. Like, Jordan didn't have a rival that made him the GOAT. It was just, he's the GOAT. Like, if Magic walked in and there was no Bird and he runs off 6 to 7 championships, Magic's the GOAT until Jordan starts.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like I
Bird,
get the
same
logic
thing.
behind
Like,
it.
Like I get the logic, like the narrative, like that's why I jokingly said the NBA may not have survived.
Yeah.
Like the popularity of the
because
league
they
may
saved
not
the
have,
NBA. You're like,
the
that's
popularity
factual.
of the league may not have ever got to what it was, and maybe might have hurt Jordan honestly in the long run more than anybody.
Yeah.
But in terms of their on court dominance,
Yeah.
I think it would have just been even more not spectacular, but it would have been more like
Evident,
like
prominent.
or prominent.
Like,
yeah, like
we speak about
this guy-
Bill like this, but imagine how we speak about Bill. Wilt never existed, or
Exactly,
vice
like-
versa. I see what you mean when it
like
comes to
Bird and Magic got three MVPs each in that era.
Yeah.
You take one of them out, one of them might have 5.
yeah.
Like,
Take Duncan out the 2000s. Kobe probably would have ran it up to 7.
Like
Yeah.
it's just so I get what you're saying. The popularity of the league may definitely have taken a hit, but their on court dominance and greatness probably would have looked even crazier
Without that other
the
person, yeah.
pushing them.
The adversary.
To go with Greg is also say Magic, no Bird in the league.
Mhm.
Say Magic does lose, then it taints that legacy of like having to lose to Bird. You lost to
Depends on who you lose to.
whoever.
It ain't gonna be nobody you
It
can't
ain't-
lose to if it
right.
ain't Bird. That's
If
what
it
he's
ain't
saying.
Bird. That's-
We've gone down Magic Johnson's finals resume. Like he's lost to Dr. J,
Yeah.
Bird, Isaiah
Isaiah.
Thomas,
Right.
and Jordan. Like he never lost to somebody that wasn't a top tier Hall of Famer.
No, for sure.
So-
But if you don't have
But
that
yeah,
like
if he
Bird,
doesn't
and
have
you lose to
Bird.
someone else, it's like,
So it's like, yeah, who replaces Bird in that Eastern Conference that he loses to? Is it Isaiah Thomas again? Is it
it takes
Yeah.
away from
an
that.
older Dr. J? Whoever?
Yeah,
I
we
don't
know the
Yeah.
entire league changes when you do these
Exactly.
hypotheticals, but
we're doing butterfly effect.
yeah,
right
for
now.
sure. But to rein it back in, I definitely see what you're saying in terms of just the narrative push and
Yeah.
how they're welcome into the league, the red carpet rollout. Let's make sure everything goes right for
Perfect.
them.
And
yeah.
they gave both of them that. Which
Yeah.
thank you. We appreciate that. We don't sit
it wasn't
without
stupid.
that.
Yeah.
Facts.
Steph did not get that.
None of
Not
he,
at all.
he probably
Steph-
got the opposite.
Steph did not get that.
Oh.
He walked into the league. There was LeBron James. There was Kevin Durant. There was Russell Westbrook. There was
Everybody.
Kobe.
I think Kobe didn't tear his Achilles
Timmy,
yet, so
all of these other people were already present, and the one thing that I saw, and I'm all over the place a little bit. NBA 2K24 for all the gamers who like basketball had the new thing called the eras in my NBA.
Mhm.
yeah.
They named the newest era, the most recent era, the
modern
LeBron era.
Oh, I
And
thought.
they named it the LeBron
The
era.
Oh,
LeBron
really?
era, and I chuckled.
What? Wait. What's the year span? Because y'all know I don't
It's
play
pro- I
2K
think
no
it's
more.
from
Because
like
2K some
I think it's
trash.
from like 03.
03 to what?
04 to like now.
Now,
No.
And that's the LeBron era? Nah, they got the
Or-
eras
or-
wrong.
Is that the biggest era? Is that the
There's
only
no way
era that-
LeBron's era starts in 03.
I don't think
20
it starts in 03. I
20
think it
years?
starts.
I think it starts in 2011.
2011.
I was about to
Okay.
say it
2011, when he
can't
goes to
start
Miami.
until past 2010.
Yeah.
Also doing a 20-year era.
Because I think they gave Kobe an era, didn't
they gave Kobe.
Yeah,
a-
I was about to say, that don't
Kobe-
even make sense.
I think Kobe has from like 2000 to like
To 2010, yeah, and then-
LeBron's era
Goes from 11 to
11
now.
now.
11 and now,
to modern day.
and
Ah.
and that is super conflicting for me because there is no way
Yeah,
you
you
can
give it to him, though.
dismiss Steph Curry and not revere him as some level of he's a part of this era with the impact he's
So
had.
you're saying it
So if
should be
you're gonna
more
tell me-
Curry, I mean not Curry, and
The way
Bird.
they have the
Magic and Bird.
era, it should
You're
be
saying
the
it should be
LeBron,
Curry and
Steph.
Bron.
Exactly. Because honestly, you cannot have a conversation about LeBron James
And not
without
mention,
Steph Curry.
yeah.
You
Did they
cannot do that anymore.
Did they do that? Like, is the era, what's that, the 80s or something?
What Magic and Bird?
It's the
I think
Magic-
that's
it's the
Bird.
Magic
Like,
Bird.
so
Magic
it's
Bird.
Magic
Bird.
Bird, Jordan, Kobe, and I thought the last one was modern. I didn't know Bron
Yeah,
had
they
his
named
own.
it the LeBron era.
They named
That's
it the LeBron
crazy.
era, and then you have
that's
them.
wild.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's wild.
And I ain't gonna hold you.
But
If you had to name it after a player, like they were like, nah, we got to do one name, then it would be Bron.
Yeah,
But
you didn't
that's
have to.
fair. You didn't have to.
You didn't have to.
You didn't have to. And you cannot have a conversation about LeBron James and the NBA and his career without talking about the Golden State Warriors and most definitely
Very
Steph
specifically
Curry.
Steph
You
Curry.
cannot do that. It's impossible.
But we've had this conversation so many times. But like Steph is never going to get put on that level simply because, just as you mentioned, with all these other guys that have eras named after them, Magic and Bird, red carpet rolled out.
Yep.
Jordan, red carpet rolled out. LeBron and Kobe, red carpet rolled out. Steph is the one guy, and granted, it's almost a testament to his greatness. He's the one guy, and we've said it. The reason so many guys disrespected him is because they did not believe he belonged at the table.
Yep.
Exactly.
And he got it out the mud.
And which is why I am so quick to say he's the greatest point guard of all time.
And once again,
Like that's why
and I think that's the best argument for him.
because
That's a good argument.
Best argument for
nobody thought a 3-star out of Davidson was going to do this. Like, and change the game completely for youth sports, all youth basketball, all the way up to
basketball, in and out.
Completely changed the way the game is played.
Yeah, international game has changed because everything has gotten the Steph Curry effect.
No, it's a fact.
I agree. I think it's a close argument. I'm cool with somebody picking Magic if it's for the reason that B said. All the people picking Magic because Curry isn't a PG.
Nasty work.
That was disgusting.
Yeah, don't ever tell me Magic. Don't tell me Steph Curry isn't a point guard, and don't tell me because Jordan said so. I refuse.
Because
I refuse.
My take was if Curry's not a point because of the way he plays, cool. LeBron's the greatest point guard of all time, and then there's no argument you can have there for Magic. Let's be real.
I'll have it, but whatever. Anyway,
let's be real about these things. Steph Curry's a point guard. I don't care about anybody and how they feel.
Yeah.
And I've been saying it on this pod on wax that Steph Curry has been the greatest point guard for last I've been saying it for 2-3 years. Now, granted, did I say it a little too early? Who knows?
I said after that last ring.
but if he finds,
I think I said it right before. You said after the last fourth one.
He gets his next one. It's up, and then God forbid he lets Chris Paul, who's been cursed to not get a ring. If he manages to get Chris Paul a ring, it's up, dog. It is up. You can't tell me anything.
I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there because the Warriors have a lot of work to do in terms of being a championship contending team. But as far as Curry versus Magic, which has been one of the hot debates this entire summer, yeah, I think if you have it on the basis of what has already been accomplished, then I can still see you saying like, okay, Magic might edge him out a little bit more. I don't, but I think definitely by the end of Curry's career, I don't think it's going to be a question. Because I think that's how close they are right now, regardless of who you go. So
very narrow margin.
Yeah.
But no, Magic's the GOAT until otherwise. But go ahead, Steph. I'd love to see you go for it, man. I'll sit back and watch it, and I'll applaud every step of the way.
Man, Steph goes from number 2 point guard for Brian to skipping like Jordan and Bird and everybody named Mama to being the GOAT.
The GOAT. Because that's essentially what happened.
But what I love is like he stands on that. Like he's like, yeah,
I like
that's the line.
We've had these arguments so many times. All these guys to me are separated by the thinnest of margins. So yeah, like Steph winning another championship, another finals MVP, having another phenomenal season at the age of 35, 36.
Nah, I see.
He's got more championships than Bird. He's got more championships than Braun. Y'all know me. I'm
not arguing against it at all. I just love it. I just love how this jump goes. Yeah.
In terms of making players better around, I look at all of it.
Brian's top 5 looks like a BCS. Looks like a BCS ranking on my college football people.
My God.
It do.
My man got UC.
How Auburn get in here with 2 losses? That's exactly what it's looked like.
I mean, how LeBron in the GOAT conversation was 6. Like, what we talking about?
Oh, man.
I'm not having an argument, but I love the points that you're making. I'm just being quiet.
Hey, man, let's get out of here.
It's my list.
I got one more person to slander if we got time. Yeah, we got Noah Loud.
You got 10 minutes.
I got 10. All right, Noah. You're a phenomenal track athlete. You won. He won goals and everything like that. But when you sit down and you get in front of a camera and you're talking about your own achievements, why would you go and look to a sport in your own country that has nothing to do with what you're doing right then? So that tells me that there's some kind of NBA or basketball PTSD that he must have. Somebody took his girl.
Somebody
punched on him when he was younger. You weren't good enough to make your varsity team. There's plenty of us out there who aren't good enough to make certain varsity teams. Yeah. Like, you don't have
Frank
to
Mason
hold...
told me I was in the league.
You don't have to hold that hurt in your heart. I don't know why he did that.
I don't know either.
We understand semantics, but I would expect that when you, an athlete, win such a prestigious competition yourself, you don't take the time out of your day to not only disrespect an entirely different sport, you disrespected that entirely different sport in the best league of that sport in your home country.
And the birthplace of that sport.
I will say, the reason he did it, I think, and he accomplished his goal was he has said numerous times he wants to bring attention to track and field.
That's fair.
Mission accomplished.
He did it.
Like,
I don't like
the way you did it, but mission accomplished. You got everybody talking about you.
I think you brought more attention to basketball in that moment than you did track and field, and that was my point.
But like, it it goes to the question of, once again, once Kevin Durant starts to retweet it and there are all these NBA superstars, like it then goes to, I guarantee you there were millions of people who had no idea who Noah Lyles was.
And that was my second point. He didn't bring it up for track and field. Noah Lyles got more, it's him.
But right
track
now
and
he's
field.
the face of track and field. So like,
no, he ain't.
Or in the USA, I'm sorry. In the USA.
No, he ain't.
Not even the USA.
Who is?
Sha'Carri.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I won't argue that.
And to be completely fair, in the US, generally track and field, the women runners it's kind of like soccer.
I won't argue.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about his perspective and probably how he viewed it. Do I like the way he did it? No. Did it make sense? Semantically, technically, I guess you're right. But like, come on, man.
You could pick any sport. They all the world champions in the US.
Like,
it didn't have to be basketball.
But in basketball in particular,
bro, there's such a big gap in basketball in the US to the rest of the world.
Like, I don't agree with Gilbert Arenas a lot.
Oh, he was on point.
He was on point with this one.
Kind of on point.
Because the way he started, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot. Like, if you were to take the best NBA team, whoever your NBA champions are that year, I don't care. Pick any year you want to pick. You take the NBA champions from that year, you put them against the EuroLeague champions, or Canadian League champions, or Australian League champions.
We're gonna stick with EuroLeague. I think that's probably the one you want to go to.
They're the closest. They are the absolute closest.
Yeah.
And that roster is filled with guys who couldn't make the NBA.
Yep.
What are we talking about? The best EuroLeague players play here. So Jokic, who would probably be the EuroLeague MVP without question,
he's an NBA,
is going to be playing against you. You have no feasible shot.
It's not happening.
Now, for the people going, well, in one game, anything can happen.
Yes,
well,
because
then sure.
the better team doesn't always win in one game. And that's what I always tell people. And that's why I like the whole March Madness bracket is what it is. And that's what makes it exciting is because the better team can lose.
Yeah. For the people making that argument of, well, one game and anything can happen. Sure. In one game, anything can happen. You know what's also likely to happen? They might lose by 100 if the NBA players take it seriously.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
If they knew one game,
one game, everything on the line.
Man.
Like,
they don't get up by 20 quick.
Like, it might get ugly real fast. Because I know people like to point out, well, in exhibition games, when they come over here and they're close.
Nobody cares about when Madrid played the Thunder when Luka was 12 years old.
The superstar maybe plays 10 minutes.
Like, I don't want to be real disrespectful because those guys are players that I can't guard either.
Yeah, so, phenomenal pros.
With that being said, like, those guys are pros and they are great at what they do.
Yes, sir.
There's levels to everything.
Mm-hmm.
You coming over here and playing against NBA guys in the preseason when they're not in shape, they're not looking at scouting reports. The coach doesn't have a real game plan yet. They are not preparing for you like it's the end all be all. I'm sorry. You can sit here and talk about, well, we didn't win FIBA and da-da-da-da. We haven't sent our best team to FIBA in years.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the date. Maybe 07?
In years.
Maybe
this is
07.
a great example. This is
we don't have one real all-star on this team.
Ain't no Kobe on this
We don't have an all-NBA guy on this team except for Jaren Jackson made it 1 year, didn't he?
He didn't make all-NBA
He didn't
this
make
year.
all-NBA this year.
They don't have one They don't have one certified. Now, once again, there are guys who may bump into this eventually.
Yeah.
But they don't have one certified top
Superstar.
20 player.
There's no superstar
on this roster.
They don't have a top 20 player. I agree with that.
And you still getting smacked.
By 20.
Granted, they may lose. It's a possibility. Yeah. It's a much closer chance than if we had sent KD, Steph, and LeBron.
Exactly.
Like, what do you think reasonably happens if we really send these guys every time?
08.
Even 08.
And then granted, there was a lot of different NBA guys across the world. Like Spain had an amazing team in 08. And
granted, I get the 08 team is a redeemed team and they were great and don't get me wrong, they're phenomenal to watch.
Yeah.
Even that team,
was
if you
missing
really
some
go
pieces.
down the roster,
If you're talking about
still missing guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was Wade, LeBron, Kobe, Melo, Chris Bosh. What was it?
Tyson Chandler was on that team?
No, that was 12.
That was 12?
They lost Dwight Howard.
Yeah, they lost Tyson Chandler, yeah.
Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh. I'm trying to remember. I think
Michael Redd was on that team.
Yeah. Tayshaun Prince was on that team.
Shout out Michael Redd, yeah.
Old Jason Kidd.
Chris
Paul, I think,
Chris Paul was on that team.
Like, that was not the absolute best we could have sent.
That was like 75%.
That was just most of it. The dream team is still the pinnacle of that's the absolute best. And that was still Magic and Bird way out of it.
Yeah.
And Bird with a bad back.
Bird with a bad
Magic
back.
hadn't played
Still
NBA
left
basketball.
at home.
That was Magic not playing NBA basketball in a year.
And they left IT at home.
Still
And they left IT at home.
Dog.
We took Christian Laettner. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
And once again, this is no disrespect to EuroLeague.
It is
There's
me.
no disrespect to anybody that plays basketball professionally anywhere in the world.
Okay.
You are the top 1% of that athlete.
Facts.
Facts, no questions asked. That does not mean you are the top 1% of the NBA. That's just reality.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I'm not listening to the semantics of this argument. You can have it if you want to argue the technicality.
Yeah, most
Sure.
NBA benches are better than starting fives that countries can put out. Like, that's just the reality of it all. So, yeah, we could talk about semantics. We could talk about what Pop said like 12 years ago. Who cares? The reality of it is, if I had to put my house on it, my crib on it, my dog on it, my girl on it, I'm taking an NBA team in any kind of series and whatever it is against whatever team out there internationally.
Y'all good?
I mean, I just had to let
I gotta
Noah
get to
know
practice.
he a
Moving
bum.
I got to get to practice. Moving on.
All right, let's get out of here, man. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
Some of y'all.
No, we love
all our
y'all.
subscribers.
We love y'all.
The subscribers. Yeah, I know if like the people I'm throwing strays
Everybody
at.
that wants to subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate
If
y'all.
I said something about you on this pod, I feel how I feel.
We're gonna
And
try
I'm
and be
taking it
back. We try and be back next
Jaren
week.
Jackson.
We appreciate y'all. As always, ECP the game. Be safe.
No allows.
We out.
He's
so-
say it like that.
It's bummy,
So
bro.
much-
That was so whack. Like, why would you take a shot at your own country?